Hello, food safety matters at farmers markets. Over the past couple of years, we've worked really hard with the Ontario Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care and with senior health unit officials from across the province of Ontario to come up with an information package for you. The package includes a kit and a really neat video, a video which deals with food safety practices, both at home and at the farmers market. Please take the time to view that video. We think you'll find it worthwhile. After all, you and we want to bring the best to our Ontario shoppers. Wholesome, safe food. Have a great summer.
The heart of so many communities across Ontario is the local farmers market. And people enjoy going to farmers markets for so many good reasons: to see their friends and neighbors, to meet the farmers that grow their food, and of course, for the food itself. Food they especially enjoy because they know where it comes from and how it's grown. Food that's safe, nutritious, and wholesome. But any food has the potential to cause or spread illness, whether through bacteria or bacterial toxins, viruses, parasites, or chemicals that may get into your food. Although not traditionally considered a foodborne illness, allergens in certain foods, like peanuts, may also cause mild to severe reactions in some people. The fact is that any of us can be at risk, especially when food is not handled properly. And it's also true that foodborne illness, commonly known as food poisoning, is a special threat to those among us who are most vulnerable: seniors and young children, those whose immunity or health is already compromised, and expectant mothers. Certainly, no one wants to make anyone else sick. And because food safety can be a matter of life and death, every one of us has a role to play in keeping our food safe and our local farmers markets vibrant and healthy. In this video, we're going to meet some people with a particular interest in food safety who are going to show us some of the best practices for keeping food safe at your farmer's market. And above all, we will go over in detail the 4 key principles of food safety: clean, separate, cook, and chill. Ontario's professional public health inspectors play an important role in advising and consulting with market managers and vendors and promoting safe food handling practices.
I'd like to see a vendor start with a clean stall or booth, and I'd like to see them finish with one. So when they come in, it should reflect that they've adequately cleaned the booth and sanitized all food contact surface, just with a bit of bleach and water, and just clean the floors if they have floors, and cleaned out the units that they used to hold the food before. If not, you're going to have risk of infestation with rodents, insects, and flies. Especially in the summertime, you leave some food and everything out, or meat juices, you're going to have a lot of flies, and flies can transport bacteria all over the place. So you want to have a clean, sanitary booth.
And here's the easiest way to sanitize all your food preparation surfaces and your market stall.
One of the most important things you can have in your food safety toolkit is a spray bottle that you put 1 teaspoon of bleach, 4 cups of water, and you just keep it handy because you want to be spraying down your counters and your cutting boards frequently. And you want to let it sit, let this sanitizing solution sit for about 45 seconds or a little bit longer if you're more comfortable with that. And then the next step, which is really important to remember, is you want to dry it.
Probably the single most important thing anyone can do to promote food safety is to keep their hands clean. When you wash your hands, remove any jewelry, watches, and rings, and clean all the surfaces of your hands and in between your fingers with soap or detergent under warm water for 15 or 20 seconds. And when you're finished, after you've dried your hands, turn off the tap with the paper towel. Ideally, each stall should have access to a proper hand washing station with hot and cold running water which drain to a sanitary sewer. If this is not available, then you should use some form of clean water container with warm potable water, such as a plastic jug with a spigot. You will also need a liquid soap dispenser, not bar soap, and a roll of paper towel. And don't forget a container to hold the wastewater, which you can later pour into a sanitary sewer or private sewage system. All foods can cause foodborne illness if they become cross-contaminated. This happens when bacteria spread from one food source to another. All raw meats should be displayed and handled separately from cooked or ready-to-eat foods to avoid cross-contamination. Similar foods should be stored together in coolers and display cases. And ideally, you should never handle food if you're also handling money. Divide those tasks between different people if you can. Otherwise, you should always wash your hands between handling cash and touching food. With so many people around and so many different sources of possible contamination, displayed foods have to be kept separate and protected from every possible threat. Keep food up off the ground on shelves and racks, and keep it under cover, out of the sun, and safe from bird droppings and the like.
We like to see that the food is protected from any risk of contamination, so we'd like to see the vendor just really work at make sure that the customer, if they cough or sneeze, they won't contaminate the food, and also that they can't touch it.
And so, baked goods and prepared food should be kept under mesh tenting, or behind sneeze guards or barriers, or tightly covered with plastic wrap and protected from being handled by the public. To keep samples safe, control the customer's access to the product and put out only a few at a time, and restrict sampling to single-serving methods such as toothpicks and paper cups. Keeping the market clean in general and controlling trash is also a critical concern.
Especially for an outdoor vendor, you need a trash can with a lid, and it needs to be emptied as often as possible so that you can just not attract any rodents. And if you have overflowing garbage, then once again you're going to attract some unwanted visitors.
No one should ever smoke around food. This will help to prevent cross-contamination. It's also very important that you never handle food if you are sick. Also, if you have a cut or wound on your hands, bandage it and wear clean disposable gloves so that any contamination doesn't get into the food. To prevent cross-contamination, whenever possible, everyone handling food should also cover their hair with a hairnet, bandana, or baseball cap, or tie it back.
Well, no one likes to see a hair in their food, and it can contaminate food with bacteria, so it is important to ensure that people serving or handling food have their hair covered. Hairnets, chef's hats, or baseball caps that are clean are all appropriate for use.
Cooked foods should be thoroughly cooked to the right internal temperature. Using a food probe thermometer is the only reliable way to measure the internal temperature of cooked food. And when bringing foods to market, the best practice is still keep hot foods hot and cold foods cold. Hot foods should be held at 60 degrees Celsius or hotter, and cold foods should be at 4 degrees Celsius or colder. Frozen foods are always best defrosted in a refrigerator, never on the counter. All high-risk foods, including samples, should be kept in the refrigerator or in coolers with ice. High-risk foods include meat, poultry, fish, seafood, and dairy products. And that goes for eggs, too. Only empty egg cartons should be put out on display at room temperature. To make sure coolers and refrigerators are cold enough, keep a thermometer in them to check that they are running at the proper temperature. And so, it's up to you to uphold the 4 key principles of food safety at your market and at your booth. Clean, separate, cook, and chill. 4 easy-to-remember basic rules to ensure food safety.
Those of us who live in Ontario are fortunate to enjoy the delicious and safe food available at farmers markets across the province. We are all partners in food safety, all committed to the goal of promoting and protecting the good health of everyone in Ontario. I thank you for doing your part in working to that goal and hope you will benefit from the information available in this video. Thanks for watching.
This food safety video was produced by the Ontario Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care with valuable assistance from Farmers Markets Ontario, the Canadian Partnership for Consumer Food Safety Education, the Association of Supervisors of Public Health Inspectors of Ontario, the Federated Women's Institutes of Ontario Rose Program, and the Region of Waterloo Public Health Unit.